So let's use the analogy of a box. A box is a container in which we can store books, we can store clothes, we can store papers, and many other stuff that we like. So you can actually understand that the variable is also a container within itself, but the container is placed inside your RAM, which is the random access memory. Now, whenever you are executing the program or whenever you are running the program, and you are running the program using the command ruby functions.rb, and functions is the file name or the script name in my case. You might have a different name. So when I'm running the program, during the execution time or during the runtime, the program is actually going back into your machine and it's accessing the RAM. And then when it accesses the RAM, it's creating it's telling the RAM that, Mr. RAM, I need a container, I need a space to store something that my programmer is going to give me. So I'm giving him a string. I'm giving this container or a variable a string. Now, when this variable goes to the RAM, it's going to tell the RAM I need a space, and then it's also going to tell the RAM that assign an identifier or assign a name for this space. Now, if I say my name, now when the Ruby compiler goes back to the RAM, it's going to tell the RAM that, Mr. RAM, I need this space to be named as my name. So we're going to the machine and we're telling the machine that we need a space, and the machine needs to assign a name to that specific space. And hence this equals to, you might remember that in our in our elementary mathematics class, we use the equals to sign to say that, or to mean that two variables or two numbers are equal. But in terms of programming, the equals to symbol actually represents, or it's also known as the assignment symbol. It has a different meaning. It doesn't mean equality. What it means is that the compiler, the Ruby compiler, is going to go to the machine and it's going to say to the machine that I need the space and assign this my name to that space, and you need to store this value, this string value, to that specific space in the RAM. And hence, when during the execution time or during the runtime, your program, this when we run this program using this command ruby functions.rb, it's going to go back to the RAM. This puts method or this puts function, it's going to go back to the RAM and it's going to tell the RAM that, Mr. RAM, I think you have got a variable, or you have got a space in which there is a value that is being stored, and that value has, or that space has, a name called my name. So you need to place it in here. So the puts method or the puts function, it's going to retrieve this value and it's going to place this value in here instead of this name. But we want to make our program much more dynamic. The reason we need to use variables, it's because that variables will make our programs far more dynamic than statically typing anything. Which means, suppose you need to use this name in 10 different places. If you have to so if you suppose you create a script, and one of the programmers whose name is Nafis Ahmed, obviously it's my name, he creates the script and in 10 different places he has to place his name. But then again, there is another programmer who comes along and he says that you need to place my name rather than your name. Then we need to change that name in 10 different places. But when we use a variable, this is going to our work is going to get a lot easier. Why? Because we're storing that single this string value inside one single variable, and hence we're calling in that a variable by its name in 10 different places. So suppose we have got, so this will print out the name in 3 times on this console. Let's have a look. Functions RB. I made a mistake. Okay, I didn't save that. So now you see it has placed or it has printed out that string which contains my name on the terminal, and it has done thrice. So suppose another programmer comes in and he tells me that I you need to place my name instead of yours. So what do? I just change the name in here. Maybe his name is like Yusuf, and let's save this. Let's look at the change. You see, it has I had to change it in one single place. I didn't have to change it in all of these three places. But what if you had something like this, right? Okay, let's also change this. And now what you will have to do is that you'll have to change those names in three different places. Suppose all of those names appear in 100 different places. You will have to make the change by your hand in 100 different places. So using a variable, it's much easier. We need to alter the value in one single place, and in all the places where that value is retrieved, the change will be automatically applied.